Next on Worcester News Tonight, a beautiful day in the city of Worcester with temps in the 60s. People were all smiles on this spring-like day. Plus, Assumption College is teaming up with a popular ride-sharing app, making sure students have reliable transportation to and from campus. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Anna Botari. Days after 17 people were killed by a gunman at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, a national debate about assault rifles resumes. Here in Worcester, the Goods for Guns program is held each year in December. It allows people to remove unwanted guns from their homes and anonymously turn them in exchange for a gift card. The program is headed by Dr. Michael Hirsch, Surgeon-in-Chief for UMass Memorial Children's Medical Center and Medical Director for the Division of Public Health in Worcester. Dr. Hirsch says in the wake of the tragedy in Florida, they'll be holding another buyback in June in hopes to get any assault weapons off the streets.
I think really the place for that kind of ordinance, assault weapons, is really in the hands of the police or the military. There's no evidence that that's an easy or safe weapon for personal protection. It's a very good weapon for assault. That's why it's called an assault weapon. It's not a great weapon for personal protection.
Since the gun buyback program began, they've collected more than 2,400 firearms and distributed more than 750 trigger locks to those who still have firearms in their homes. Developing news tonight, the president is calling for a ban on bump stocks. President Trump says he directed Attorney General Jeff Sessions to propose changes that would ban devices, making it easier to fire rounds quickly after the shooting in Las Vegas.
And just a few moments ago, I signed a memorandum directing the Attorney General to propose regulations to ban all devices that turn legal weapons into machine guns. I expect that these critical regulations will be finalized, Jeff, very soon.
Massachusetts already banned bump stocks right after the Vegas shooting. A program at Assumption College is making sure students have reliable transportation to and from campus. Tuesday, the school announced its partnership with Uber, offering subsidized rides across the city of Worcester. Our Cam Jandro joins us now live with those details. Cam?
Yeah, and Assumption is now one of 3 schools in all of New England to team up with Uber for Business. And with so many students living on campus, the hope is this program will help provide a safe and reliable way for students to travel around the city of Worcester. For students at Assumption College, traveling to and from campus will be a lot easier, thanks to the school's new partnership with Uber for Business.
This is a great safety net to ensure that students can get back to campus at any time if they need to. It just provides that service and that extra sense of security that students are looking for.
Assumption will now kick in $4 for students to take Uber to locations across the city. Student Government Association President Ian Burns helped create the program. Nearly 90% of students live on campus, and he says the program was a necessity.
We knew students were looking for an alternative way to get off campus. I was really just hoping to get students out into Worcester and also provide them a way to get back with reliable transportation.
Uber will pick up students 7 days a week, regardless of how late. Vice President of Student Affairs Catherine Woodbrook says Uber provides a safe option if students decide to drink.
We know that students are going to drink. What I found, I've been in student affairs a long time, that students are really responsible now in ways that they weren't when I was in college, where they get a designated driver. But this gives a really great option for people if that's the case.
Woodbrooks hopes the program allows students to see the city beyond Salisbury Street.
We want them to experience the beautiful city. It's the second largest city in New England, and I think that sometimes people forget that, and there's just a lot to see and know about Worcester.
In a statement, Uber for Business's Josh Butler said, "We're thrilled to see that Assumption College has adopted the Uber for Business platform as a way to provide students with additional transportation options." Burns says the program is already taking off.
We already have, I think we were just saying about 400, close to 400, 500 students linked their accounts with Assumption, so that's exciting to see already. I mean, that's almost a quarter of the student body, so we're ready for that.
Now, Burns says the school will be running pilots for the rest of the month, and they say the full program should be up and running in the near future. Anna?
Awesome program. Wish they had that when I was in college.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kim. It's a popular time of year for parents to take their children out to different activities. But with flu season far from over, they may second guess where they go during February vacation. In Worcester, the Ecotarium says they're taking extra steps to prevent the spread of the illness. Our Rosalind Flaherty has the story.
The Ecotarium in Worcester is a popular destination for kids on February school vacation week. But with flu-like activity on the rise in Massachusetts, the museum is taking extra precautions.
Depending on the exhibit and depending on what components there are, we have all kinds of sanitizers, sterilizers.
Statistics from the state's Department of Public Health show flu cases are more intense in other parts of the state, but flu season is far from over in central Massachusetts. According to the Centers for Disease Control, nationwide, 84 children have died from the flu this season. A quarter of those deaths were within the last week. The Ecotarium says volunteers and staff sanitize their exhibits daily, putting in extra time and effort during the winter months. There are also antibacterial pump stations.
All our exhibits are hands-on, so it's very important for us to clean everything as people come through.
It's helping putting parents at ease as their children touch many different surfaces.
Especially vacation week, I think it's great to know that that's what they're doing. When we were chatting with our friends on where to go this week, there are maybe some places we didn't want to go because we're not sure on how well they clean it. So to have somewhere that they're on top of that kind of stuff is really important.
And some say they also have their own way of staying on top of the germs.
I have Purell wipes in my back pocket just in case we need an extra little wipe up.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
A new government study says getting vaccinations during pregnancy is not harmful to infants. Researchers with the Centers for Disease Control studied 400,000 newborns, babies whose moms received a flu, tetanus, diphtheria, or whooping cough vaccine had no increased risk of health problems during the first 6 months of life. Researchers say these vaccines are extremely important to protect the health of mom and baby. Sunrise Detox has plans to convert a former nursing home in Millbury into a drug and alcohol detox facility. Town administrators say the project will have a positive impact in the town, but as our Chandler Walsh explains, some residents are concerned about the location.
A former Millbury nursing home is being renovated into a drug and alcohol detox facility. It has some residents concerned about the addition to the town's main street.
I don't know. I just don't trust it. I think it should be away from the center of town.
Town manager David Marciello wants to make sure residents know the center is a positive project. He says it will bring 40 new jobs and physical improvements to the downtown building. Sunrise Detox is operating the facility, and Marciello says they've been transparent about the project.
They're being good neighbors. They've come forward. They've given us their plans, explained to us what they're going to do and the phases in which they're going to do it.
Marciello doesn't expect the center will pose any problems. He says it will be a high-end detox center and patients will be under medical care at all times. Patients check themselves in and no visitors are allowed.
They show up at the front door. They get admitted inpatient. They're met with a medical staff and they never walk outside the building.
The town encourages residents to come to them with any concerns. Not everyone in the town is worried, though. Jade Lozon lives nearby and says after several years of the building being empty, she's happy to see it put to use.
They need someplace to go, they need to get help, so I don't care where the location is. I'm just glad that people are getting help.
Sunrise Detox has locations in Florida and New Jersey, and this will be the first in Massachusetts. Selectman Francis King says the center will only benefit the town.
What the residents got to realize is not only could this be their neighbors, their co-workers, it can also be their relatives that's going to be going in there.
Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
An eyesore in Worcester is about to get a facelift. The property on Quincy Street has been a problem in the city for years, but one Worcester developer has plans to change it. Our Brittany Schaefer has the story.
Two local newspapers, the Telegram and Gazette and Worcester Magazine, have named the property among the worst in the city, but Ed Murphy saw an opportunity. The work has just begun to remodel this 16-unit apartment building on Quincy Street. Ed Murphy has owned the building for 2 weeks now and says the conditions he initially walked into were shocking.
Lots of heroin needles, homeless people in the hallways, human feces all over the place, people peeing in the hallways, anything you can imagine, it was here.
A lot of the houses I've been into, I wouldn't even compare them.
Worcester police say this address is well known and has been a problem for years, but Murphy says he's ready for the challenge.
We saw past the trash and needles and people. The mechanicals in the building we think are pretty solid, so we've taken on similar projects in other towns. We did a building in Grafton last year. It came out really well, so we're encouraged so far.
The owner of Seven Hills Property Management says the past 2 weeks have been filled with non-stop cleaning.
So far we took out cabinets that were mostly broken already, taking out toilets that are disgusting, taking out sinks that are just, have feces in them.
Scrubbing the stairs, we're changing the lights. I'm going to take those windows out pretty soon.
Murphy's hope is to not only drastically change the appearance of the building itself, but to also help out the neighborhood.
We cleaned up the street last week just to try and help out the neighbors, and we have some surveillance cameras here, so we hope everything in general, we stop some of the activity and they go elsewhere.
Now, Murphy says his company will be spending about $80,000 on security improvements, and he hopes to start renting the units within 60 days. Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.